Good morning, everybody. It's time to discover crypto. It is September 25th. It's 11:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Took us a few minutes to get ready today, Tim. Was it your fault?
Probably, yes.
It's probably his fault. We got Drew on the ones and twos, and Tim. How are you doing today, Drew?
Oh, I'm doing great. Couldn't be better, honestly.
All right. Me and Drew were talking. We might try to get that MRE video out today. Folks, I might also put out my cold plunge footage. I got to upload that and everything. So it's going to be a good show. Today, we're talking about MicroStrategy just bought more Bitcoin. We're talking about how much Bitcoin does Coinbase hold. It's a whole lot, and it's a lot more than you thought. Also, we're talking about the expiry on Friday, Tim. Now, what are your thoughts on the expiry? I mean, it's going to be a little... It's a lot larger than the last one. I think it's about 4x the amount of money that's in this this week's.
Yeah, it's a very large one, and it's going to tell us a lot. There's two things I really take away from it, DZ, is first of all, it kind of gives us a good indication of what price is going to do this week. And then we got to wait to see what happens on Friday, but we'll talk about that level later, I think. If we don't get to that level, we could see that move below 25,000 we've been talking about for a while.
And also, we're going to talk about Chainlink, everybody, and some fake Aptos floating around. So that's going to be a pretty fun story there. All right, let's refresh, make sure we got the freshest crypto pricing available. And it looks like the market cap is down, folks. We are down 0.8%. We're coming in at $1.08 trillion, 24-hour volume, 32 billion bucks, and Bitcoin dominance coming in at 47.2. Gas is almost triple what it was Friday at the when we were doing this. It was 29. It's 29 Gwei today. It was 11 Friday afternoon. Bitcoin is bouncing a little bit on the hourly. Same for Ethereum. They're up 0.5 and 0.3, but down for the 24 hours. You see Bitcoin down 1.4%. Any levels you're looking at, Tim? We got Mr. TA Tim here.
For Bitcoin specifically, or for anything? Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin. So again, we'll talk more about those levels, but there's something about that options expiry and that level being 26,500. I'm not expecting price to go too much away from that. I think there's even a point where in the week we could get a little over that, then come back down. This happens a lot when there's a big number for options expiry. Price doesn't get that far away from it because the traders want to keep it right there. But then watch right before the expiry happens. My suspicion, DZ, is it's going to be below. It's going to be bad, and I think we might have a good little fall on Friday.
Yeah, and well, depends where we're at, because a lot of times it acts as a magnet and wants to pull the price to 26.5, and right now we're at 26.2. So I expect it to end up getting pulled to that price like a magnet towards the end of the week there. We have Rice hanging out. Hey, what is going on, Rice? Rice in the chat. Hey, make sure you go follow. If you see him in the chat, go click on it. You see his channel. Make sure you're subbed if you're not already. We have ETH down 0.6%. We have BNB down 0.8%. XRP leading the losers of the top 10. It is down 2.3%. And Cardano, in a weird way, besides Solana, performing pretty decently here. It is only down 0.2%. Solana is actually up 0.3%, while Ethereum is down 0.6% and Bitcoin down 1.4%. But let's look at the top gainers here. Ooh, I see a good, juicy Chainlink pump. What is going on, Drew?
Yeah.
You're feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about it. I've been telling people to buy Chainlink. My 3.2 should have been 4.2, man. I'm missing out on that one Chainlink pump.
I know. My heart goes out to everyone distracted by drama because Chainlink is crushing it. So
I'm focusing on crypto prices. I'm focusing on crypto news, and I'm focusing on bettering my situation as we get closer and closer to the halving and then beyond. I think the next 12 months after halving will look pretty good for Bitcoin. All right, well, let's look at the top gainers. We have Aptos leading the way. Aptos is up 3.7%. There were some counterfeit Aptos tokens. Is this, maybe the team, the community pumping the token? That way, if you see, a bunch of bad Aptos news, let me look into it. Oh, it's the best gainer of the day. Oh, must not have been anything. Maybe there's a little element of that going on. Number 2, though, we have Chainlink. Chainlink pumping up 3.2%, up 8.2% for the week. Frac shares up 2.9%, and Immutable X is up 2.2%. Was 3.7 just an hour ago. I actually have 2 of the top 4 coins here. I can't believe it. I'm assuming I'm gonna have 0 losers in the biggest losers of the day. Can I get any thoughts on SEI from JA Get Ford? Well, one, you got to get a Chevy. Or a Honda.
That's
don't get
first
a Ford.
problem.
SEI, I don't really have any. We'll look at it as the top losers and the top gainers. All right, after that, though, we're seeing Immutable X, then Thorchain, then Law Enforcement Officer token, then we have Bitcoin Cash up 1.7%. But after that, it's going below 1.5%. Really not seeing anything too crazy. Now we're going to the losers. We want to make sure your coin is not in the biggest losers of the day, and the best way to make that happen is to hit the like button. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. Woo! Ooh, Radix is down, and it is down heavy, folks. It is down 11.9%, and WeMix is up 65% for the week, but it is down 8% for the day. You can see it just cracking in the top 100. That's why we haven't really been used to seeing WeMix. It looks like it's just now getting in the top 100. Okay. Then we have Render. Then we have Optimism. Then we have EOS. Then we have XRP. I have a small bag of XRP, but I have nothing in the top 5 there. Radix, have you been ever trying to trade Radix, get in and out? You always see it in the losers and gainers.
No, so one of the problems with trading altcoins, especially when you're using TA, is some of those altcoins, they can move very quickly without TA helping them. So those ones you definitely have to get in, be aware of what's happening with adoption, be aware of what's happening with stories. The charts still help, but the charts can't give you the complete picture. And I don't do a lot of digging on like little altcoins like that.
Yeah, Radix down 12%, but, up 6% for the day. So people got in a week ago. They're still looking good, even though they're down almost 12% right now. Let's see. So what was that? The super chat coin there again.
SEI.
SEI. I don't know how to pronounce it. I always see it up there. Well, it's a newer coin, correct? It's about, it's a newer coin. I mean, it's a new coin. It's going to be too soon to kind of give it any real data. If we click, I just want to get that spike off the axis there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like it's bouncing off that level. I mean, very, very limited TA. It looks like market buyers are buying it when it hits that level. So maybe they'll continue to buy it, but maybe they'll quit buying it. Maybe it falls through that support.
Yeah, the charts, there technically actually is a little bit of bullishness about it going on. It's definitely hitting in a place flashing oversold. But you guys can, if you go on my screen, you're on my screen. There we go. Yeah, you can see like we're down towards bottom price levels. So again, you're seeing a good little bounce on it right now. Could that continue? Absolutely. How far it goes to the upside? I'm watching the oscillators again, really low. RSI got all the way down to 10. So definitely a something that in the short term trade, it has a lot of upside. I don't know how much exactly though, and so that's continue to look for adoption stories. Okay. That's your flasher for that.
All right. Well, speaking of flash, the seeing Bitcoin flash up, down, but I was going to say something funny about MicroStrategy. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go off the rails already. We got to wait about 30 minutes into the show before we start doing that. But MicroStrategy just bought more. Drew, what are your thoughts of Michael Saylor?
I'm just kind of curious. He's just well ahead of his time. I think he's going to be viewed as a major winner and a visionary 10 years from now. But
who's in the background? Go full screen there, Drew. Is there someone in the background over your right shoulder on the left side there? What is that?
He's creeping me out.
Who is that?
I don't know.
I literally have TV screens and everything in front of me, so I can't see. There's cameras, there's wires, there's bright light. It's all silhouette.
Look at this. It's Kelly. He's just,
Oh, it's Kelly.
He's getting all his action.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the main story here, everybody. MicroStrategy buying more Bitcoin, everybody. They just added 5,400 Bitcoin. They've now spent $4.68 billion. They've spent $4.68 billion. Do you want to throw out a guess, Tim? What do you think it's actually worth? Now, they have spent, we'll round up, 4.7.
Yeah.
What is their Bitcoin worth, though?
I mean, I've seen them be buying all the way from the top. So I would say they probably have an average purchase price somewhere in the realm of 30.
It's within 2K. I'll say that from where they bought today. It's about
it is
2.5.
2K.
It's within 3K.
Okay. Is it around 28?
They bought in a little higher. It's 4.1. What they bought, they've spent $4.6 billion, but what it's worth, only 4.1. I think we all agree, though, that it'll go up. All right. MicroStrategy bought another 5,445 Bitcoin, taking its total to 158,000. New filings with the SEC revealed on Sunday. It reinforces their position as the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, with its holdings now sitting at nearly 4.7 billion. However, the stock fell, and pre-market trading looked like the stock was down almost 1%. Shares up 120% for the year, though, but core business still at risk. Says the Bitcoin bet had a significant impact on the share price. Notably, it gained 120% since the start of 2023 as crypto prices rebounded from the 22 lows. Meanwhile, the correlation to stocks has been on a downward trend lately, dropping from 0.02 from 0.8 in late August. Similarly, the maiden crypto assets correlation to gold has also substantially declined. Yeah, we're going to see gold slowly and surely separate itself from gold, separate itself from tech stocks, and then separate itself from risk assets entirely as people FOMO in. And they're going to FOMO in, folks. But you know what? They're not the only big holder of Bitcoin. We're talking about Coinbase and my bald brother, Brian Armstrong. While Coinbase holds $25 billion in Bitcoin, the exchange only owns around 200 million of Bitcoin. So Coinbase has 5% of Bitcoin in existence. 1 out of 20. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really big. But this is to be expected, especially with them being chosen to be the wallet that custodians the BlackRock ETF, the Fidelity ETF, the ARK Invest. In fact, I think the majority of the Bitcoin ETFs being filed, they're putting their money into Coinbase for the custodial wallet. So it's not actually that surprising to me that this is there, but it's definitely an alarming number just to know 1 out of 20 Bitcoin that will ever exist is sitting in Coinbase right now.
Sitting in Coinbase, but Coinbase only owns 1% of those Bitcoin. So if they have 100 Bitcoin, 99 belong to other people. The real question is how much of that is going to be a BlackRock and how much is going to be retail? You combine the me's, the Tims, the Drews, the everybody's, where do we stand compared to the BlackRock, the State Streets, the Vanguards?
Do you have any Bitcoin in Coinbase?
I have a little bit. I have like maybe 10% of a Bitcoin in there. Gotcha. I forget. I have a DCA strategy where I like to buy 1/10 of 1%. So 1% of a Bitcoin is going to be $260. Mm-hmm. So if you buy half of 1%, you're looking at 130. So like 130, that's 0.5% or 50% of 1%. Mm-hmm. So that slowly starts to add up during the bear market. I've been buying alts a little bit more though. Nice. So while Coinbase holds over 25 billion of Bitcoin in its wallets, they only own around 10,000 of all the Bitcoin it holds, which is roughly 200 million. It's going to be less than 1%. 250 million would be exactly 1%. So coming in a little bit low that. So maybe 80% of 1%. Community members express varying reactions to the news about Bitcoin and the amount that they hold. Some believe it's a sign to withdraw, warning holders not to wait until exchanges start to halt withdrawals. Others are saying there are legitimate concern over cold wallets. Well, I looked into the cold wallets. It's not like I was poring over Arkham data myself, but no wallet has more than 10K Bitcoin. 10K is what, roughly 200 million, something like a little bit more, 250 million. So it's spread. It's not all the Bitcoin in one wallet. Drew, if you had an exchange, would you spread it to a bunch of wallets? Or are you putting everything into one God wallet?
No, I mean, I would absolutely be spreading it around. They've seen what happens to various, companies, Celsius, FTX. I mean, you're definitely at risk. You have to spread out and lower your risk mitigation by having that exposure. It's the ethos of decentralization. Of course they do. So
yeah. All right, let's talk about the Bitcoin halving right now. We're 85%, folks. Their supply held by long-term holders close to an all-time high. It's already passed 85% of the time since the previous halving of May 2020. The next one's scheduled for mid-April 2024. And 76% of the Bitcoin is held by long-term holders, nearly the all-time high of 2015. So you go forward 4 years, that's 2019. Then you go forward 4 years, that's 2023. This is playing within the 4-year cycle. So it looks like, maybe we're still going to be having fireworks 18 months from now. I'm still banking on that. I still think we'll put in a new all-time high. Still kind of coming in at 95K for the all-time high, though. The indicator of Bitcoin supply in the hands of long-term holders has historically been a good measure of the health of the cryptocurrency market. Historically, this metric has negatively correlated with the long-term price action of the largest cryptocurrency. So right now, it is just down to the diehards, and we are at peak diehard. Mm-hmm. But what happens after peak diehard is going to be moving towards peak retail. So right now we're at peak diehard. You want to sell at peak retail. What is going to happen between those two periods with the price, Drew? Tim, what do you think?
Tim, what do you think?
If the retail, listen, if what's going to happen is we're going to get the spark from all of the institutional money. But I think people need to be prepared, DZ, that if you were in the last cycle, and for a lot of people, that was the first cycle they saw. The fall and the fall and winter of 2020 and 2021 was explosive for Bitcoin because for the most part, it had to do with retail investors. I would be very surprised if we see the same explosive run. One of the reasons why is because COVID delayed a little bit longer, probably when the explosiveness should have started. So that means it had to catch up. The second thing is with this amount of institutional money involved in the space, institutions they're not going to allow it to just run up like crazy. They're going to constantly be taking some profits, letting the price dip back down to keep acquiring more supply of Bitcoin. So it's going to be a slower burn this time. I still believe, DZ, I think you and I have different levels. I still believe we're going above 100,000. My book is looking closer. I think 150. 150 is an interesting spot to me, but I'm not expecting there to be this massive explosion. I think there'll be days of like 15, 20%, followed by a pullback of like 15 to 20%. That won't bring it all the way back down, but it'll be a very slow up and down move into the bull market. And retail investors are going to get fooled. They're going to buy every single top and they're going to sell every single bottom. And especially now that we have people like BlackRock involved, they know how to trade that. They know how to trade price action extremely well to get that to happen.
Yep. All right, and TC, yeah, of course he's here, of course. All right, let's talk about the expiry date here of $3 billion worth of options on Bitcoin. It is approaching. We looked at the last week's. We didn't really want to cover it too much because I want to say it was 1/6 or 1/10 of this amount of value, so we're expecting a lot more fireworks this Friday compared to most Fridays when it comes to expiry events here. Next week, approximately $3 billion worth of Bitcoin options and $1.8 billion worth of Ethereum options expire. What does this mean for the price action, though? That's what we want to know. While this person stated that the impact of monthly and quarterly expirations in September on the price will be greater than daily or weekly expirations, he said the current conditions may not lead to particularly strong market movements here. And then what were you saying the price was at again? Is 26 what?
Right now?
26.5.
Well, it's at 26.2 right now. Are you talking about the price for the expiry?
The expiry for
sorry,
Friday.
26.5.
26.5. All right. Well, you know what? We got some charts here with Kelly. I think it's time for us. Maybe Kelly could help us.
Kelly Colum.
Kelly Cologne?
Kelly Colum.
Okay, Colum. Okay.
Colum.
Cologne. Here we are.
Oh, you take over here. Oh, okay. Just kick my shoes.
Come here. We'll be like Ghost. Come here. Come on. Let's do this together.
No.
So, $5 billion worth of options expiry coming up this week. Why does it matter? Weekly expiry, monthly expiry, daily expiry, and quarterly expiry. So everybody's wondering, they want the price to go up. Price doesn't just go up. In fact, what we really want is to not have something, looking here at the chart, to not have something like we see right here when we had the this high volume candle. This was a Grayscale SEC court case with Grayscale coming out on top. This is an inefficient market movement. And what we see, price action fell right back down. Then we see volatility tested to the downside. Now volatility testing back to the upside. What we're seeing is everybody trying to figure out if they can capitalize. It's mostly retail trying to jump in to take advantage of the majority of the movement. But retail buying on hope, that doesn't push the price. That only pushes the price and only supports healthy movement of the price to the upside if we have a reason, a fundamental change, or a long period of accumulation with smart money coming in as well to actually support upward price movement. We want to have monetary energy. We want to have that happening. Now, if we zoom out on this chart, I'm looking here at the daily chart. I want you to notice something. There's interesting similarities here. Looking right here, May 28th, 2023. Look at this push up. People were jumping in here. Somebody bought the top of this wick only for the price to come down and form a new low. Now, what's important here is if we look at price structurally, is that we have price expanding to the upside and then losing that expansion. The momentum is starting to shift because we're not getting the same size expansion in the bulls. They're losing their strength. And then we get this lower low, lower high, and then a continuation to the downside. Similarly, we see this price action, large expansion to the upside. We have a significant loss of expansion here, only getting a small amount higher high here from these previous highs and even from this high. So there's a notable lack of expansion with the bulls, lack of follow through with the bulls, which means they are getting exhausted. And then what do we get? Lower low, lower highs. Now we're getting the lower low, similar to what we saw right here. Massive inefficient expansion to the upside, speculative pump with no follow through, comes back down, and we're kind of getting the same thing. Now the question is here, and interestingly, looking at this chart, how these trend lines are essentially pinching into a convergence here. We're coming in towards an apex, and this is also lining up somewhat with what's going on with the expiry coming up to date on Friday, and that expiry is at 26,005. Or not, I won't say the expiry. The max pain is roughly around $26,500. Now, why do they want max pain? Everybody wants everybody to do well, right? Well, to be honest, every time you buy in the market, whether you have 0.01 Bitcoin or whether you're buying 100,000 Bitcoin, you're in this market to make money. Unfortunately, people, us shrimps and plankton, these very small accounts, retail, all of retail, we don't have the juice that these big market players come in. So coming back to the chart, I just want to point out that nothing has changed through all this other than liquidity testing to the upside and downside. However, what is changing is that when we have this bullish expansion that's failing and a weaker bullish expansion that's failing, even if we get a small pump up here, I'm leaning on the side of this more likely than not, potentially even throughout this week, consolidating sideways. But even if we get up to $26,500, maybe test above it, I still see price action coming back down to, likely somewhere in this range at the bottom side of this order block here that's printed out here from the BitLab trading stack. It outlines areas of high liquidity interest. So pushing up into this zone, I'm seeing structurally on the chart. And we're also, I forgot to mention this. If we want to get an edge on the markets, look at the Dow Jones. Dow Jones has a head and shoulders. It's broken bearish. Okay, S&P 500. We see that this is forming a new low with an M top and a new low. Okay, and then we come over here to, I was going to look at something else, but that's okay. Point being here is the pressures on the risk narrative are not suggesting that risk is coming back into the market. It's suggesting with the yield inversion curves starting to change shape, with the price action here on Bitcoin, with the lack of conviction of bulls and no new fundamental change. What is there for the bulls to really go up other than to take your money if you jump in without healthy risk management? So that's my thoughts. Be smart, trade safe, have your risk management strategy in play, and just don't be angry at the price drops. Look at it as an opportunity to be better prepared for the next bull run. That's what I got. BitLab Academy every day, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, youtube.com/@BitLab Academy.
Yeah. Don't be mad at the price. Be mad at your ledger. Point at it, scream at it, call it stupid. Maybe just don't break it. Just don't break it, folks. That helps. It makes you feel a little bit better on the red days, or you can have some dry powder on the sidelines and be ready to deploy, folks. All right, what do we have for the next stories here? Are we talking about a little bit more Bitcoin stuff and then some corruption by some senators? All right, U.S. government shutdown looms. 5 things to know about Bitcoin in this week. It starts last week of September with the retest. We kind of talked about the price already. Yeah, I really expected to get sucked like a magnet to 26.5. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin S&P 500i quarterly loss as bonds look most attractive since 2009. Relative attractiveness of bonds means less incentive to invest in Bitcoin. The leading cryptocurrency is considered a zero yielding risk asset by some observers. The benchmark equity index, S&P 500, appear on track to end the third quarter lower, as a key metric shows the case for owning bonds over stocks and risk assets in general is strongest since 2009. Essentially, people are going to have $100, and then the big money, they're going to allocate 20 for bonds, 20 for this, then some stocks, and maybe they put 50 cents towards some Bitcoin. As bonds get more and more attractive, that's going to shrink the pie piece for cryptocurrencies and for stocks in general. So, this is going to be just a normal part of our cycle, but the real risk takers aren't letting go of Bitcoin anytime soon. All right, what is Ben Cowan going to say? He's going to say it's bleeding Satoshis. That's my guess. All right, he predicts a grim future for many altcoins, what to expect in 2024. He's issued a cautionary note suggesting that numerous altcoins are headed for another downturn within this year, with little hope for recovery. He shared these insights, warning of an altcoin reckoning that many digital assets may not survive. He also touched upon the role of the Fed Reserve's monetary policies in the altcoin market's futures. He anticipates a renaissance for altcoins, but only after the Federal Reserve changes its current stance on monetary policies. He expects this policy shift to occur next year, although he did not rule out the possibility of it happening this year. My thoughts on the shrinking money supply. So there's a lot of people saying the 4-year supply, or the 4-year cycle, is just going to be totally useless since we're in a contracting money supply scenario. I've thought about this long and hard. I have to do a little bit more research, but it is my understanding from April, May, we are actually contracting our money supply in the year of 2021. And Bitcoin managed to put in a second all-time high in October/November of 2021. So did we actually put in a new all-time high in the midst of quantitative tightening? I'll have to check the stats on what the actual 2021 fluctuations of money is, but that is something I'm going to look at. All right, let's talk about China here. Let's see the corruption. Do we have the Menendez thing here? I want to make sure we go over that.
I saw it in there.
Okay, here we go. Senator Robert Menendez, a vocal Bitcoin critic, faces bribery charges involving cash and gold. We went over this in detail, 5 p.m. ATB on Friday, so you make sure you want to check that out. We got some hot takes. Essentially, one of the main critics of Bitcoin found out he was corrupt politician accepting bribes. He was accepting bribes in the form of cash. He had envelopes stuffed with cash hidden throughout his house, and he had gold bars hidden throughout his house. One gold bar, I think, is $400K. All right, we got Army Piper in the chat. Shout out to Army Piper. Yeah, we like Army Piper here.
Piper is solid. I love Piper. By the way, it's not happening yet, but Piper's starting his own channel. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be another morning show, I think, going on sometime. I don't know the details yet, but look forward to a Piper channel. One of my very, very best friends in crypto. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear more from Piper. That's all I'll say.
I want him to come out to Roddy Piper's bagpipe music. Huh? Can we make that happen?
I mean, that's why he's Army Piper, because he was a bagpiper in the Army.
No way.
Yeah, I tried to get him to play me. Like, I actually tried to get him to record a private session of his bagpiping, but I think there's a problem with the one he has. So maybe we can fund a new one.
That seems like a finicky instrument, right?
The slightest thing can make it not work. So like, it's a very fragile instrument. But it's one of my favorites. I have no idea how to play it, but for those who know how to play it well, some of my favorite music is when the bagpipe comes in to support the other instruments.
Okay. That's all right. Chat, what are your thoughts on bagpipes here? All right. Well, in response, let's see. What did Menendez have to say, though? Look, he innocent till proven guilty, folks. He issued a statement. He's denying all the allegations. He's saying that he remains committed to his work. By the way, he's up for re-election next year, and he will not be sidetracked since he's up for re-election. He will not be sidetracked by unfounded claims. He's currently facing 3 federal charges: conspiracy to commit bribery, conspiracy to commit honest services fraud, and conspiracy to commit extortion under the color of official right. If found guilty, he could face 20 years in prison. So they had $500,000 in cash, luxury vehicle, and over $100K in gold bars in his residence and a safe deposit box. They're now seeking forfeiture of those assets. It was all for Egypt. He was selling state secrets to Egypt.
Wow.
There, folks.
Nice.
State secrets. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. No big deal.
I made a short. Oh, God, this thing is way off. Hold on. I made a short last week about the top 50 congressmen make up their net worth about $4.8 billion. Okay. And at their average salary, they would have to work for 27,400 years.
That seems like a lot. 27,000 years? Yeah. All right. Well, Neuralink, we need these chips, and we need to upload DZ into a robot body fast so we can make that happen. All right. Let's talk about, speaking of chip factories here, China to build giant AI chip factory to bypass U.S. sanctions. Essentially, China doesn't get the higher end models that we get from any kind of American-related company there. So the U.S. has barred the NVIDIA from selling its top-end machines to the Chinese market, similar to barring NVIDIA. So it's Advanced Semiconductor Materials, ASML, and NVIDIA cannot sell their most powerful products to China. But China looks like they're just going to say, hey, you know what? We built a hospital in 4 days. We can make a chip factory too. I don't know if you guys remember that hospital situation there. What did we end up doing? Just getting like some old cruise ship and then wasting a bunch of money and just leaving it there?
Basically.
And that kind of what happened.
Yeah. Are you talking about the cruise ship off of Manhattan?
Yeah.
That was a mess.
I hear bagpipes. I revert to 1997 when I first listened to Korn. I listened to Korn in the late 90s. I don't remember bagpipes.
They absolutely had bagpipes.
They absolutely had bagpipes. Yeah. I remember, are you ready? Drew, can you do, what do you call that voice? What is that called?
Oh, God, it's just loud talking. I'm not in the
It's
mood
not
right
demon
now.
voice or something like that?
Yeah, but I'm not trying to turn that switch on inside of my body right now. I'm trying to keep
is
calm.
it like an all or nothing? Are you going to like immediately start thrashing?
At that point, I'm punching the screen out. The stream will go out.
There's no like casual listening to it, right?
If
after a certain point, like by the 11th second, you're thrashing, you're head banging, you're kicking.
Basically,
okay,
you're at risk. You're at risk. Everyone's at risk if I do that. So we're gonna move on.
Look, if there's anyone I wouldn't want to be in a mosh pit with at work, it's probably Drew.
Well,
he's got some long arms.
It's the reach.
I don't think no one else has the same reach.
Yeah,
as Drew. He's got a.
It's like the 8th grader does the windmill.
Yeah.
Like, bah!
Yeah.
Drew's got you.
It's 82 inches, baby.
All right.
And he wears boots that would definitely hurt if those boots started flying too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Enough about me. More about
these
crypto.
boots are made for treading, and he will not be tread upon. All right. Let's talk about Worldcoin. It's also hitting Chile. 200K Chileans sign up for Worldcoin. So this just announced today, and now they're at 19.5 million for orb sign up. So almost 20 million people have scanned their iris and gave it to Sam Altman. They've given the Altman their biometric data. We're almost at 20 million. I don't know how I feel about that. But when we were looking at this story last week, I think it was in Kenya, it was like $47. So I don't, let's just say it's within probably 10% of that. 40, $50. If you're in a third world country, you're in an emerging market country, that 40, $50 can probably go a long way. So I am not going to, get mad at any Chileans signing their thing. But Sam Altman, if you're watching at home, he's not watching. Look, if you see the orb, just walk on by, folks. That's all I'm going to recommend.
Yeah.
I would walk on by. I can't tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you what to do. Me, personally, I'm just going to keep on walking. But you know what I'm going to walk towards? I'm going to walk towards my Chainlink bag, Tim. If you didn't know, I have 3.1 Chainlink. I look to grow that to 3.3 by the end of the show. I might mark it by 0.2. Sure. Chainlink surges 15% in a week as Bitcoin and ETH lag behind. It is outperforming the rest of the cryptocurrency market with its price surging 15%. Meanwhile, Bitcoin and ETH, they remain relatively flat over the same period. New information from Glassnode revealed that the daily counts of new addresses and active addresses trading Link began to increase on the 10th and remained in an uptrend as of this writing. Wow, 790 account. Woo, woo, let's all celebrate. For example, the RSI was 64.88. Its money flow index is 81.55, suggesting that the token might be even overbought due to increased accumulation pressure. The Chaikin, this has nothing to do with Clay Aiken. The Chaikin money flow, which tracks an asset's buying and selling pressure over a period of time, was positioned above the zero line at 0.23. Values above the zero line indicate that there is more buying pressure than selling pressure. So not ready to sell. An assessment of the alts exchange activity revealed a decline in sell-off activity in the past few days. As a period of increased sell-offs, the past few days has seen a decline in profit-taking activity. So looks like people are maybe a lot of people are done dumping. I don't think so, but maybe a lot of people are done dumping. I'm going to keep buying more Chainlink. But there is also Chainlink news. You may be seeing some FUD. Have y'all seen the FUD? The multi-sig?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, Chainlink is downplaying the worries after users notice a quiet change to the multi-sig. Chainlink critics have reiterated concerns about the supposed centralization after a subtle adjustment to its multi-sig. I think it went from 4 to 9 to 4 to 8. Yeah. So Chris Black was among the number of users who called out them for quietly reducing the number of signatures required from 4 of 9 to 4 of 8. So it looks like it still requires 4, but now just has less people to pull from. The 4 of 8 is a security measure that requires 4 out of 8 signatures to authorize a transaction. If they want to authorize just giving DZ a bunch of Chainlink, if you want to just double my bag of 2.9, give me 2.9, and then I have 5.8. I'll feel pretty good about that, folks.
What's your end target for your Chainlink bag? What, like before the bull market takes off?
I don't like to say any kind of real number. Just never enough.
So say a fake number then.
It's just never enough.
Never enough.
It's just never enough. 42,069.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, there we go.
Love it.
All right. Counterfeit. Let's talk about this Aptos story, folks. There's some fake coins floating around. All right. Counterfeit Aptos token deposited on Upbit led to Aptos withdrawals being temporarily suspended, according to on-chain data. The token, which originated from an airdrop scam site, claimaptgift.com, is held by approximately 400,000 wallets. I can't imagine looking at claimaptgift.com and thinking that would be real. One user highlighted a bug on Upbit that caused the exchange to accept the fake tokens because it didn't thoroughly check the underlying source code. How does such a huge and foolish incident occur? Seems like during the process of reflecting coin deposits, there's a failure to check the type arguments, and all same function transfers were recognized as the same apt native token. I wonder if some people maybe made an exit there. During the deposit process, there's an oversight in verifying the type arguments, causing all transfers to be identified as native app tokens. Understanding protocol, certain checks should differentiate the tokens, but this wasn't the case. Co-founder of the TunaBot said to Definalist. While deposits and withdrawals were temporarily suspended, they resumed services for the token by Sunday night Korea time. So probably not too many people were able to take advantage of that. But yeah, still interesting. I didn't know it was that easy to just spin up a fake token, make it as close as possible to that source code, and random account or random exchanges might accept it. That's never even thought about that attack vector. Have y'all?
No, that's a new one. That's a good strategy there. I'm just going to continue my strategy, DZ. I'm not touching meme coins with a 10-foot pole. I know the first week I worked here, I remember you mean mugged me because I didn't like some of the meme coins. But I've learned my lesson. Meme coins can do 1,000x pumps and they will never make me any money. because I'm not going to, you can't lose on a meme coin if you never buy into it.
Yeah, it takes a certain type. You got to not be married to the meme token.
Yeah.
You got to be dead inside,
Yes.
and you got to be really close, ear on the street, because you got to be that first week or two of activity. You can't be that second or third where you're probably going to break even. You don't want to be past that where basically 99% of the new participants are going to lose money, essentially here. All right, let's talk about, I just want to do a little bit on ETH Shanghai here. Ethereum since Shanghai is worse on at least a half dozen benchmarks. This is by the Aptos staff here. Nicolas, something or other, called the network activity level since the upgrade disappointing. They enable withdrawals for ETH's proof of stake validators. It activated on April 12th this year. Since that upgrade, market cap, daily transactions, daily active addresses, and DeFi total value locked have all declined. So we got one right there. That's two. That's three. That's four of them so far. So market cap has fallen 17%. That's not too much. Daily active wallets fallen 19%. Really, again, not too much. Let's see here. Total value locked has declined 30%. That's a little bit more. All right. So we also have NFTs have not. This is so dumb. Tens of thousands of such collections have now lost 100% of their value with the floor price of 0. Also, we have DEX volumes down as well. So yeah, we do have a few ETH metrics down. It's like saying things were better during the bull market.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. True.
I was there. Correct statement.
That is a correct statement. I was there. It was fun. You know what? Guess what? We were all eating cake and cheersing Coca-Cola, of course.
I wasn't there for that. So.
I don't know. What are you drinking right there? I don't even know what you're drinking. You look like you're drinking some weird tab.
A Zoa, cherry limeade Zoa Energy.
I thought you were drinking tab for a second, but then the can's a weird shape.
Shout out to
Show
Tab.
the logo. That's I don't know.
That you're talking about NASA's Tab?
No.
Yeah.
No,
that's
they
Tang.
had Tang. Oh, yeah. Who has Tab? Who uses Tab?
Tab was just one of the first diet sodas.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Ugh.
Tasted like a garbage can. Not a garbage can't. A garbage can.
All right. Well, let's see. More ETH news here. ETH average transaction fee plummets. What it means for the ETH price here. So it's going to be cheaper. That's all. And oftentimes that's correlated. So yeah, that was, gas hit 11 Gwei over Friday. So it was super, super low. Let's see. We have someone calling out the CTO of Tether. Really kind of a nothing burger right there. He called him out for his recent attempts to defend the stablecoin amid critical reports by legacy media firms like Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg. They lost me when it was the critical reports from Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg. So yeah. I am all for some, Tether FUD, and let's look into it if there's something there. But when you see Wall Street Journal and Forbes, maybe I take a step back there. We're ready to talk a little XRP. I think we're at the XRP Clue. Who has played Clue?
Well, I've played Clue. This one's XRP Spree. Clue, here's a funny thing. I went to a dinner theater last night.
You went to a dinner theater last night?
I went to a dinner theater last night.
Legit, there's a play happening while you're eating your mutton?
Yes, and it was a Clue game. You had to watch the play, and then you get clues throughout it, and then you'll have to decide, and the winner gets free drinks. It was absolutely fantastic. Play Clue.
Okay, were you the murderer?
Huh?
Was the dinner guest the murderer? Did you sit down and you had a roll or something?
Well, the funny part is I just guessed that it was the feds from the get-go, and I was right.
Okay, it's always the feds, right? It's always the feds.
Everyone was mad at me. I didn't even listen to the clues. I just said it was the feds. Correct.
It's always the feds. Yeah. All right, let's speaking of feds, now let's talk about Ripple here. Ripple goes on a hiring spree in Canada. All right, what is up with the Canadians lately? We're not going to get into it, but guys, you know what I'm talking about here. What is wrong with you?
Oh, cripes.
I know Maddie B was pissed.
Yeah. No, they're having a bad time. My family's from North Dakota and Fargo and all that stuff. It's a bad time. They're crossing the border down south now.
All right. Well, let's talk about a blockchain company, Ripple, set to bolster its workforce significantly with a primary focus on Canada. They're also hiring in London, Singapore, Australia, and other places here. Brad Garlinghouse said their strategy is to allocate 80% of the hiring efforts outside the U.S. Yeah, we had talked about that in the past. So good for them. Hey, 1 out of 5 going to be good old America here. All right, Ripple versus SEC case update as of today. Well, we're still essentially going to be in wait and see mode here. It's well understood that the speech that the SEC itself disowned as reflecting its official position cannot give Bitcoin and ETH the legal clarity of a court decision XRP now enjoys. Good that others are starting to realize the fact. Talking about digital asset investor.xrp, in which Joseph Grunfest That sounds like a metal band, metal fest, right? The Grundfest. Legal scholar and expert on capital markets, corporate governance, and securities litigation. Speeches do not have the force of law, whether speeches by presidents or divisions directors of the SEC. So basically, his Gary Gensler's stake video. Wait a minute, that isn't regulation. Wait, we can't just take that to the bank. Good. I don't want that thing. Here we have, I thought this was Guga Foods for a second. Then I thought it was John Fetterman. I think we are, we talked about Deaton already. Let's see here. What do we have? All right, so smash or pass time, folks. I don't know where that. We're still doing that.
The rundown's lost its mind. So you're going off.
Oh, because Google Cloud wasn't on there. Okay,
yeah. The rundown's absolutely out.
We're talking about GLMR chat. Who's in Moonbeam? Are you in Moonbeam?
No.
I saw Martini guy talking about it. He's usually on some low cap gems. He usually knows those. He can sniff out the 50x, the 10x, the 20x here. And so he's talking about it. I lean towards Smash. I'm leaning towards Smash when I saw that Martini guy talked about it. Well, the surge is coming after Upbit is a South Korean exchange that will list Moonbeam on its exchange with the Moonbeam Bitcoin trading pair set to go live. I don't know anything about this tokens, about their tokenomics. Do we have their, let's see, let's just pull it up. How old is GLMR here? A little live review here of Moonbeam.
Part of the whole Polkadot push, I remember.
Holy crap. Okay, I see why we're looking at it today. It is up 40%. If people were in that one, you were looking good. Wow.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That will do it. All right, if we look at the 14, whoo, that's a pump, baby. That is a pump. For the year, though, it is down 50%. Okay. So it looks like one of those coins, not the best launch, if we're going to be honest here. You typically don't want to see that with your launch.
That looks like a lot of meme coins.
Yeah. Looks like a lot of meme coins, yeah. But the fact that they're up 40% today means, something a little something's happening here. We just click on their X account.
I think at this point, it's also a safe bet not to invest in coins that have the word moon in it.
Wait, it's a safe bet not to?
Yeah, I don't think you want to be investing in moon.
Well, you're
coins.
up 40% today if you did.
Yeah, but if you bought like 3 days ago, you're down 100. Like it's like you're down a lot. Look at that chart. Like 40% from zero is a lot,
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like they're trying to build a little something during the bear. Hey, they have a water bottle, folks. That's a smash for me. No, it's bearish that they tweet about a water bottle. That's just typically my 2 cents. When you see a crypto protocol, if Snake Coin does it, yeah, look, they're trying to make an energy drink, sure, for random NFT project. But when it's like, ranked 146, that means you're in the hundreds of millions in market cap, if I'm not mistaken here. Let's see, market cap $178 million. When your market cap is that high, don't tweet a water bottle.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my 2 cents there. But hey, if I'm not saying that's a bearish indicator, but I would prefer you tweeted about your protocol or your partnership, something like that. All right, let's see here. I do want to give a shout out. Are we ready for the X minute? Anything you wanted to share?
All I'm saying, again, the reason why Moonbeam is a hard pass is you're right. If you invested this morning, you're up 40%. But if you invested in February, you're still down 80%. This is just not a. Whenever I hear people talk about because a coin bursts up 30, 40% in one day, you always have to remember. Whenever you're investing, you don't know where bottoms are. You don't know where tops will be. It's always risk to reward. And when I see coins like Moonbeam, the risk is so much greater than the reward. For those who are up 40%, good for you. But the truth is, for every one person that's up 40%, there are probably thousands of people who are down 80%. That's not a coin that I would ever want to smash. That's a pass.
All right. All my coins are down 80%. If we look at the circulating supply, about 75% is out, maybe a little bit less. I don't know if I could zoom in a little. Yeah, you see 750 million out of a billion, roughly. All right. I mean, it's a decent amount out. But yeah, 40%. To Tim's point, I don't buy the wick. I never like buying the wick. Sometimes it means I miss out on Caspa because it feels like it's always in the wick. But you know what? That's fine. It's how it has to happen sometimes. Sometimes you miss out on the coin because you just didn't get that entry point. And I think there's nothing wrong with sticking to your entry points. You don't want to be a chaser. It's okay to chase sometimes when a coin's really, really just, it's going to blow up, but you got to be careful out there, folks. Have some conviction here and don't chase FOMO pumps.
Yeah. I mean, it's only up by 20% over the last month. Okay. Right. So, you know.
Okay. Well, that makes me want to buy it. All right, let's get into the X minute, everybody, and I'll share my little weekend story. I qualified for something. All right, 50 chemicals in a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Over 40 of the 50 are man-made chemicals. Because, well, water is a chemical. No, we're talking about man-made chemical. 80% of the chemicals in Chick-fil-A are man-made.
That's pricey,
He didn't understand why people are so hooked. And then he looked into the ingredients. They have 50 different drugs. Well, I wouldn't say drugs is maybe a strong word. What do y'all love Chick-fil-A?
No. I love it.
No?
I love Chick-fil-A.
I'm okay with Chick-fil-A. I don't have anything against it, but I am of the opinion that Chick-fil-A is overrated. I think for what you're spending money on, it's not necessarily the greatest. I don't really eat out too often, but if I was gonna get a chicken sandwich, the chicken sandwich from Popeyes, in my opinion, is better than the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and it's cheaper.
God, remember when that chicken sandwich was like crazy rare, coveted?
Yes.
It was like an episode of ATL even. I remember.
All right. Chick-fil-A has the play place, a clean play place for the kids.
That's good. I'm a couple years away from my son needing to use that. So
I remember being as old as like 11 or 12 and using the trays of McDonald's to slide down the slides, and you like 10x your speed, kids.
There we go.
Hack. There's a hack. All right.
That's good investment advice for doctors.
All right. It's for it's
for pediatricians to be pediatricians, make sure those trays are still at all those restaurants with the slides, and get the kids.
Yeah, in fact, give out pamphlets, giving description on how to do it at your doctor's office there. All right, let's shout out Scott Melker right here. Another platform I've literally never heard of was hacked, reportedly for $200 million. We're talking about Mixin. I've never heard of them before. How did all these protocols, projects, and companies even have hundreds of millions of dollars to steal? Had anyone heard of Mixin before today? No. I'd never heard of it. I've never heard of it. Yeah, hacked for $200 million.
Sorry, I hadn't.
Yeah. Shout out to Fiend138.crypto. He's scooping some rare junkies. Hey, you know what I like to call that one the Ted Lasso combo, where you have the Ada soccer shirt with the mustache. Yeah. I like the Ted Lasso combo.
Shout out to Ted Lasso.
I'm with Balaji. I'm against war. I'm for Bitcoin.
That's a fair take.
It shouldn't be a hot take.
Yeah.
Feels hot.
Yeah. People get addicted to conflict though, so.
All right, what happened around the year 2000? In the year 2000, what happened around the year 2000 that dramatically altered youth culture? We're talking about the amount of kids that have a driver's license, that have tried alcohol, that have ever dated, and that work for money. They're all on the decline.
What?
The shocking one is driver's license to me. I get it. Yeah, maybe Uber. Don't you want to get out of your parents' house?
Come on.
Don't you want to like drive some crappy piece of doo-doo car that you had to like save up 6 months for? That's going to break down?
The golden days, right there.
Yeah. My first car was as old as me. I had the second worst car in my high school. I was pretty poor growing up. You know what I mean? Made me the man I am today. I wouldn't change it for anything. Just more people just talking about it. Just can't understand percentage who have ever gone on a date, ever had a driver's license.
I mean,
lower than it's ever been.
It's pretty obvious what's changed.
Well, so was the big change in the year 2000? In the year 2000?
I don't know if you could say it was the year 2000 that did it, but I think the stuff coming out shortly after as the internet continued to expand, as social media became a big thing. Think about, we had MySpace coming out shortly after that. Then
that's
Facebook,
what I was thinking. MySpace was pretty close to that.
It's scientific. Like the more and more you're looking at your screen and you're self-absorbed and you're just thinking about yourself, your anxiety spikes. Like for people that have depression, anxiety, a lot of therapists, they suggest going and volunteering for like shelters and helping give back to other people, because when all you think about is focusing on you and your self-image and it worries your entire world, you create a division between you and other people. That anxiety swells up. The social anxiety gets terrible. They don't want to go out on dates. They don't want to go expose themselves and get slammed by people. It's social media and anxiety that's kicked up and made kids
say it's the internet. There's now the internet. And so before the internet, what did you have? You go home and it's just like, you're just sitting, God, I got to get out of here. Your video game's not hooked up to the internet. You're playing the same level of Halo, the same mission on Grand Theft Auto. And you're just like, man, I got to go outside. I got to get a driver's license. I got to go out on a date. And then once the internet was invented, just a pleasurable option. And, you didn't have to do those things.
Well, and you know what else is like so vital for especially young boys, but I think even for young girls too, but especially young boys, the things that your brain develops and the things you learn when you're physically active and outside and exerting yourself it's a lot. So a lot of kids do now stay indoors playing video games, surfing the internet, social media. And so they don't get that learning, that exposure, the brain waves that come with physically exerting yourself. Like as humans, we're meant to go, like especially when we're young, we're meant to be extremely active and to test ourselves and to struggle. I mean, I'm a fan of the monkey bars and falling off and hurting yourself and learning from that and developing your brain and your body. That keeps you from a lot of problems. And that's something that within the last 23 years has been heavily corrected and critiqued and are driving kids away from that stuff.
All right, Piper, he's still playing video games. What are you going to say, Drew?
Bill Gates stepped away from his position as CEO of Microsoft in the year 2000, was able to focus on other endeavors, and he poisoned your water supply.
You go with Bill Gates. All right. Hey, that's the basement for you, folks. That is the basement. That's why we love the basement. I was looking for the thing. Let's talk about it. Crypto IQ. I'm glad you guys are here. We're just here to provide you with crypto content, not maniacal ravings here. But speaking of maniacs, look at this. San Francisco. There's a stabbing overnight on the BART train, and the incident is sure to add to the public perception that trains are unsafe. Someone got stabbed on a train. These people are going to have this perception our trains are unsafe.
Yeah.
No, it's the stabbings, that make that.
Well, yeah, but at least they didn't get shot.
Knives illegal. So
yeah, that's it. At least they didn't get shot.
All right. Another shout out, Blockchain Boy, just cool guy. Crypto Blood, and then we'll end the X minute here. Then I'll tell you my quick story. Wow, Menendez, this is the senator. Shortly after returning from Egypt, did a search for how much is 1 kilo of gold worth. Come on, Menendez, you're just as bad as your brothers.
You'd think it's like someone high ranking like him would be more sneaky than that too,
It's always like, boyfriend kills girlfriend, Google search included, how do I hide body? And you're just like, come on, man, come on. What's wrong with you? All right, quick story. I qualified for the Magic the Gathering qualifier weekend. This is a tournament that they do. They give it to the top 1,200 players in the world. And I used to play regularly, so I would always be ranked in the top 1,200. Well, they open it up to beyond the 1,200 people. If you want to join, you can slap down. It's about $30 for a tournament. You can join as many times as you want. I was like, you know what? I'm bored. Kat, she was doing her makeup. We're getting ready to go do some shopping for the weekend. I was like, I got $30 to blow here. I ended up winning. I ended up qualifying.
Really?
I looked at her. I was like, babe, I guess I'm like still not terrible at this game. I used to be really good at Magic the Gathering. So I got to play while on the plane, while I'm flying to Vegas. I'm going to have to like go ahead, get the internet there, and then I have to play while I'm in the air. So I'm going to be playing my Magic tournament 30,000 feet in the air. Wish me luck. And if I win, I get like $2K. A bunch of people can, I think, win $2,000.
You should live stream it. Is that a record? The highest Magic the Gathering stream?
No. Croaky's is really good. Caleb is really good. There's a few people. I used to watch a lot of Jeff Hooglin. He went like way too political, like full blown, like just, jab me harder, daddy style politics there. So kind of had to get away from him. But those are great channels, and I highly recommended those. I played in a pretty tight time slot. It was probably the most watched time slot, and I was a top 5 streamer. So
you still got it.
Still got it. If I went back now, I would crush it. Just because I've learned so much more about how to YouTube and just social media and in general. Dr. Crypto, no, not at all. Not at all. He was on ATB Thursday. Really, really good episode. Check that out. He'll probably be on again maybe this week. Trying to downplay how much of a nerd he is. Never, JC Denton. There's nothing wrong. That. I was the first kid in my high school to collect all 150 Pokemon on Game Boy. Pretty good there. And I was the top boy in accelerator reader programs, 7th and 8th grade. Some girl beat me though. I hate her.
What a dork.
Yeah, dang Jessica. Still got the record.
Freaking Jessica.
I don't even know if that's her name. I just made up a name. All right, folks, that's all we got. Guys, it's been a great episode. Please hit that like button. Tim, any parting thoughts? Drew, any parting thoughts?
No, I mean, listen, if you love crypto and you want to talk about crypto,
this is
a good show for you.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about crypto.
What if you want to talk about aliens, the basement, Canada truckers? What's a good channel for that?
Blockchain Basement.
Okay.
Going live at 2 p.m. today. Every day.
What if you like watching two bros and they're really into investing and they kind of know some TA? Tim, what's a good channel for that?
Piano Matty B.
Sounds good. All right. That's all we got. Shout out to Piano. Love that channel.